When you hear that Buster H.R. Oh, man, it's about to go down. You feel the tension in the air. Wrestling fans all over the world, get ready for this right here. They're gonna have a field day with this one. You're about to witness Buster Unmasked! Oh, Lord! Oh, Lord! There's no telling what Buster's gonna say today. We just getting started. Just getting started! Welcome to Buster Unmasked! Hosted by Buster H.R. Johnson. This is a Buster H.R. exclusive. We are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. We are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. You are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. We are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. Welcome to Buster Unmasked! Welcome to Buster Unmasked! Buster Unmasked!
All right, y'all, we're here. We're live. You're watching Buster Unmasked. It's been a minute. No doubt about that, man. We got a great guest for you guys here tonight. Young man really making a name for himself in the wrestling business around our area. I'm really looking forward to talking to him. But I got a couple of things I want to talk to you guys about before we get him out here. Look, you know, Sunday night, December 14th, special challenge, Dirty Dozens battle. We got the infamous one, Double J, taking on the morale killer, Wade Matthews. This is not part of the tournament. This is a special challenge battle. There will be $50 at stake to the winner. The rules are the same, except in this contest, no fan votes. Only the judges decide the winner in this one. Should be a funny-ass show. You do not want to miss it. I want all you guys to tune in, share it, support what we do. Also, this Friday night, man, there is a big show going on in TIWF in Trenton, Tennessee at the TIWF Sportsplex. Let me say this. This is a benefit show. A friend of ours, Eric Joyce, had some recent surgery. He's got some medical expenses that he needs to pay for out of pocket. We're trying to help him raise some money. And three companies came together, man, like never before. You have Premier Pro Wrestling, TIWF, and Union City Wrestling all coming together for this show Friday night. Should be one heck of a card. I'm going to name some of the talent. Maybe tomorrow night we'll be able to give y'all some of the matchups because we're back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. with T-Pain and Eric Joyce himself to talk about the show. But listen to this. Man, you got the Premier Pro Wrestling heavyweight champion, Zay Roberts. Zay Washington. I do not know why I want to call him Zay Roberts every time. I guess he is an honorary Roberts family member, so we might stick with that. We might change his name to Zay Roberts. But anyway, the Premier Pro Wrestling heavyweight champion, Zay Washington's going to be there. The Ice Blade Renegades are going to be there. They're the UCW Tag Team Champions. EOG will be there. Marvelous Mike Mayo. Gunner Lane, the Premier Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions, the family, will be there with Justin Klein in their corner. Let me repeat that. This is the family with Justin Klein in their corner. A lot of big changes going on at Premier Pro Wrestling, and we're definitely going to delve into some of that. The headliners are going to be there. Young hot rookie Preston Blake is going to be there. We're going to see Chris Rocker there. Talking about fabulous. This show can't get no more fabulous than having Chris Rocker on it. and the bull from the woods. Big Cordell Roberts is also going to be there. That is a stacked lineup of talent. All three companies lend out talent for this show to make this thing happen. Should be a big show on Friday night. You do not want to miss it. And then, as always, Saturday night, TIWF have their normal show. You never want to miss that, man. Anytime TIWF, it's a Saturday night and you're anywhere around Trenton, go check out the greatest professional wrestling action you're going to see in Trenton, Tennessee. All right, guys, let's talk about my guest tonight. Let me just say this. This young man, he's really in the infancy of his wrestling career. He's already opening eyes and turning heads in the wrestling business around our area. He is your current UCW heavyweight champion. He's young, he's hungry, he's relentless, he's Race Richards. Race.
You're absolutely right, brother. It's a pleasure to be here. How are you?
Dude, I am doing great, and it is my pleasure to have you on here. I'm going to start out this thing different. I don't normally ask these old guys how old they are because some of them get a little touchy about that. But I know you're a young guy, so, man, how old are you, Race?
I actually just celebrated my 23rd birthday this past Sunday, so just freshly 23 years old.
Man, when I say infancy, you're not only in your infancy in the wrestling career, you're still in your infancy in life, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got a lot to look forward to, that's for sure. Still
man,
young
I see that. I see that belt behind you shining right there,
man. That's right.
So, look, before we get to that, talk to me about when you actually got in the wrestling business, Race.
When I truly first stepped into the wrestling business, like we talked a little bit earlier, I'd kind of been going to shows, around here on the regular every other weekend. Everybody's a fan before they truly step into the business. And I just been looking for a way in, man, and finally someone reached out. They had someone ready to train me. So, I busted my butt for months, and about June of 2021, I had my debut match. And that was after about 6-7 months of training, which started about real late 2023, maybe in December.
Okay. So you started in 2021, right?
24 was my
24,
debut.
Okay. Excuse
Yes,
me. I was trying to keep up with these comments, too. We got people on here. Mark McGee, Iceman Sosa's on here. He's already, hey, look, he wants that belt back, man. I know he was the champion a while back. He wants that
I will say,
already.
I have respect for Iceman Sosa simply because he's the only man to pin me 1-2-3 inside a UCW ring. That's the only reason I still have respect for him. That's all I'm going to say.
Hey, Iceman's a tough customer, man. Him and JV Blade, they're the UCW Tag Team Champions right now, and they will actually defending those titles Friday night. Maybe tomorrow night I'll have some matchups for you guys. Maybe we'll let some of the cats out of the bag tomorrow night on tomorrow's podcast. But let's talk about you, Race.
Speaking of cats out of the bag, my cat's going to interrupt us. Right on cue. This is Leo.
Hey, she knew we were talking about her, huh?
You sure did.
So let me ask you this, Race. I kind of like to jump around, but I also like to find out about who you guys are as people. So yeah, let me ask you this. Where were you born at, man? Where were you raised at, dude?
So I was born in a town called Mayfield, Kentucky. Some people might know that. It's about as far west as you can go in Kentucky. It's about 30 minutes south of a town called Paducah, Kentucky. A lot of people seem to know about Paducah. Right. But Mayfield was the town, some people may have heard of it, back in 2021, that super long tornado that went from like Arkansas all the way through 3 or 4 states, was like 200 miles long. It wiped out, a majority of our town. It was super catastrophic and, took a big hit on it. But I was born there, but I've lived in my whole life in a small town on the outskirts of Graves County called Wingo, Kentucky. Like I said, I've lived there my whole life, all 23 years, so I'm proud to call it home.
So Wingo, Kentucky, man. Look, yes, man, I kind of did a little Facebook stalking, man. So
as we all do.
You were pretty damn good football player in high school. But you also turned me on to the fact that that's not the only sport you played in high school. So talk to us about your high school sports career, man.
Gotcha. If I could toot my own horn for a little bit, yeah, I a triathlete star in high school, you could say. I played at the varsity level in track, football, and basketball. Uh, I like to say I was better or best at football, but I don't know. Some people leave that up for debate, I guess. I had a few college offers on the basketball side, but that was simply because I kind of dove more into the recruiting end on that. But yeah, as far as I knew, the last time I checked, I was second in receiving yards and receptions at my high school all time. So the only guy that beat me out actually went to Memphis to play football down in Memphis University. So maybe some Memphis guys might know him. It was a guy by the name of Richie Floyd. Was
Oh
really
wow.
popular. Was really popular on our part of town. But yeah, yeah, man. I got a lot of recognition in high school for sports and stuff, and just transferred that athleticism to the ring.
Well, let me ask you this: how do you juggle three sports, man, in high school? How do you do it, dude?
Uh, it may not have been a question of how I did it, but how my parents kept up with me doing it because it could have been four or five sports maybe if my parents would have let me, but I think I wore them out with the three. It was baseball, but I gave up baseball and was just doing two for the time. But our track coach actually was our wide receiver coach as well, and he saw, how I could move and get up on the field. So he said, "Hey, why don't you come run some on the track and jump over some poles and stuff and see what you can do?" So that's what we did.
Which look, I'm gonna put you on the spot, make you
Go right
call it
ahead.
out. Which sport was your favorite, man? Be honest with us. Which did you love the most?
Favorite, I would have to say basketball, just because I did move to a new school my senior year to play for a new team. That's a whole different story we can get into at another time. But I really almost fell back in love with the game because of that administration in the inner city school there in Mayfield, and just the coaches there, man. I truly, like I said, fell in love back with the sport. I thought, football was my thing, and then I moved schools, stepped into a new place, and just fell in love all over again with basketball. I loved going up and down the court and just being active, man.
Well, you mentioned you were recruited by some schools. Talk to us a little bit about that, man. That's a cool
Yeah,
thing, especially for a high school kid, man. You start getting recruited by colleges. You know
yeah.
you're good. You know you're at a certain level, man. So talk to me about that. Tell us about some of the schools that tried to recruit you, right?
Yeah. I had a few, I think two or three offers for basketball coming out of high school. It wasn't nothing crazy Power Five, but I did have a couple of D2 offers from some local schools here in Kentucky. One of them was Berea College, I believe, just north of Richmond, Kentucky, closer to Lexington. Another one was Campbellsville University, also up in Kentucky. And the third one was another one called Spalding University, and they were right downtown in Louisville. And me being a big U of L Cards fan, I almost took that offer. But I kind of knew playing college sports, you almost kind of signed your life away for 3 or 4 years, however long you're going to play. It's jam packed with practice and media and games and everything. And I always knew in the bottom of my heart I wanted to be a wrestler. That was always something I wanted to do. So I was ready to get my life going, to join the workforce and see if I could get in the ring somewhere, and that's what I did.
It's got to be a big confidence booster though when you start getting those recruitment letters and stuff.
Of
I mean,
course, yes.
it's an acknowledgement of what you've done, man. The effort you put in. It's a really cool thing, man.
I
Really
appreciate
cool
that.
thing. Why did you not take any of them, dude? Let's lay it out there. Why didn't you take any of
Yeah.
them?
I
I
I
mean, you
get
said
that.
you know you got to commit. Once you sign with playing sports in college, you're committed for several years. Was that the only thing that kept you from doing it?
I guess you say it wasn't. Um, I don't know. I just like I told myself I was gonna go to college and get my education and all this, but like in the back of my mind, I always told myself like I just don't know. I think I can do something with my body or my talent or just my work ethic or my smarts rather than go sit in the desk for another 4 years and earn a degree. And yeah, I would have got it paid for and would have been able to play sports as well, but a part of me always knew this was home, and I don't know. I just couldn't see myself leaving this area for very long, and just like I said, sitting at a desk for another 4 years. School was never my. I mean, I always had really good grades, had like a 3.7 GPA, and could sit there and take a test and take notes, but it wasn't. I hated it, man. I hated sitting there at a desk for 7 hours a day. So like I said, I was just ready to get in the workforce and be making some money, man, rather than sitting at a desk for another 4 years.
I can see that, man. I always hated school too.
Yeah.
Unlike you, my grades were terrible, man. I pretty much, look, I stayed in school for several years after I'd already quit, pretty much, you know. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I hated school. You're a dreamer. Sounds like to me you're a dreamer. Like
Yes, sir.
most aspiring professional wrestlers are dreamers. We
Yep.
start out as dreamers, and we try to make that dream a reality, and then try to make that reality as big as we can possibly take it, man. So
You're
I
dang
fully
right.
understand that part of it. Look, before we get into wrestling, I guess this gets us into it. Mark McGee wants to know who inspired you to be a professional wrestler, man? Who was some of the people that made you think, man, I want to do that?
That is a great question. I really appreciate that. I appreciate him wanting to know a little bit more about my influence. I'll just start off and say my favorite of all time, who just awestruck me when I saw him on my TV, was Jeff Hardy, the charismatic enigma, man, with the face paint and the sleeves. I had my own set, and just coming out there and flailing his arms and the loud music, rock music, and just throwing his body and putting it at risk, man. I was like, holy cow, I want to be that guy. That's who I want to be. So that was one big influence, man, and just another. I remember my dad taking me to a house show back in Chattanooga when I was in third grade, and when Cena came down that ramp, man, just the hustle, the loyalty, the respect, just the way he carried himself, just like I said, I was awestruck. So those were probably two big ones, especially as a child that I looked up to.
Right. Ricky Kennedy's with us. What's up, Ricky? Ricky, you need to take a look at this young man. I actually got to see you live the first time, I guess probably maybe a year ago, at a Premier Pro Wrestling event at a
Yes,
car
sir.
car dealership in Jackson. It's an outside show. First time I'd seen you live, I'd heard about you, and I'd seen some little clips of you and stuff here and there on Facebook and stuff. But man, I was impressed. Here's the thing: you're a young guy. How tall are you, Race?
Uh, I'm somewhere between 6'2" and 6'3". 6'3" on a good day, we'll say. We'll say right there.
So 6'3", you're 23 years old. You're not through growing yet. You're not through filling out. You've got a big frame. Man, you can move. Rick, he's 23, Ricky. Ricky's back on there, and he said, how old are you, dude? He's 23, Ricky.
Yes, sir.
Infancy in his career. Already opened my eyes the first time I seen you. I'll be honest with you. The first time I
I
seen you
appreciate
live,
that.
I was impressed, man. You look like you've been doing this longer than you've actually been doing this, and that's a hell of an attribute to have in the
That is,
wrestling business,
yes.
man.
That's one thing I took pride in is I got a lot of compliments of guys. My first match, I come back through the curtain and I sit down, and I can't remember exactly who it was. I'm taking my wrist tape off and all this, and somebody comes and pat me up on the back, man. It's like, hey man, that was a good match, blah blah blah. I was like, thanks, it was my first one, and they had to do a double take, like that was your first match, really, and I give it all to my trainer, Jason Genesis. I couldn't ask for a better mentor, a better trainer, a better friend to have in the business to bring me in than Jason Genesis. Just a gem that we have around here in this business for sure.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Jason. Look, I'm going to go back to Mark's question or Mark's statement, but Ricky Kennedy, I'm trying to get him on the Dirty Dozens roast battle. He's kind of busting you balls a little bit. He said,
Oh, okay.
bro looks 53. You don't listen to kid. You don't listen to Ricky, man. You don't listen to
Oh,
Ricky.
I get that a lot. I get that. It's the hair, then the goatee and all that. Yeah, yeah, I understand.
I'm getting a little bit of Lemmy, man. I'm getting a little bit of Lemmy, dude, from Motorhead.
I get that and Axl Rose a lot. I get Axl Rose a lot.
Yeah, you're going to have to go a lot more redhead. You're going to have to get that strawberry blonde road, and you're going to be Axel, but I can see it. So, look, Mark's back, and he says, speaking of Jeff Hardy, we got to get you as a kayfabe Hardy and have you come out as Jeff's son, man.
I could be son Nero.
Right.
Brother Nero.
We got CJ Clapp with us. He says, hey, Buster, what's up, CJ? I'm glad you're watching, man. I seen that damn code breaker that you hit on TV, dude. That thing was beautiful, CJ. Off the charts, man. So look, man, let's talk about when did you make the decision to actually give this wrestling thing a go? High school sports star, I mean, you had a route that way, but you thought, no, I want to follow my dream. My dream's to be a pro wrestler. At what age did you really start trying to dive in? And did you decide that, hey, this is something I'm really going to try to give a go when I get a chance?
Yeah, I hate to put my mother on the spot here, but almost since his, 14 to 16 years old, that's when I first popped the question, like, hey, I want to train, I want to wrestle, simply because a best friend of mine in the wrestling business and just my whole life, Tigray Dark, big name around here. Me and him grew up together, man. He stepped in the ring at like 16 years old, and I would go and watch him. Like, gosh, we would throw each other through tables in the living room growing up. So, like, man, I want to go out there and do it in front of a paying audience. But she was just, no, it's too dangerous. I was her baby boy, her only son. So I don't blame her, I guess. She just couldn't see me going out there at that age and getting hurt. But you know, almost immediately, as soon as I moved out or just kind of turned 18 and was on my own, I was looking for a way in the business. And I was actually going to start wrestling at a company that ran in Union City, but right when I was about to get my feet in and get my feet wet, they had to close the doors. So that kind of got shut down. And about a few months later is when Tigray actually reached out and told me he was working the Dyer show in Premiere at the time. And was like, hey man, we got this guy on the card, Jason Genesis. Apparently he wants to open up a school, start training a few guys. I would totally reach out. I'll put in a good word for you. And that was just, I was like, thank God, it finally seemed like a way to get in. And so I reached out to Jason, and we got it set up, and I got in the ring.
Yeah, man, Tigray's phenomenal, man. I've seen him
Oh
live
yeah,
at Premier Pro several times, man. Probably, hell, I don't even know, Race. Probably 8-10 times at least through the
yeah,
years they've been running. He's phenomenal, man. I seen him
yes,
and Walker 13 have a buried alive match
yep, I was
in
there. Yes,
Dyer, Tennessee, man. Look, I had to hit up Brian and them after and told them, so that was phenomenal, man,
yeah,
because
man,
they
yeah,
went to the whole length, man, had the whole
they sure
dug out
did.
in the field, had the lights, had the smoke, everything, man. It was
Yep,
off the charts production for wrestling at all level, man. And Tigray, man, he can fly, he can wrestle, he can kind of do a little bit of everything, man. He's
that's right.
really good. I feel like he's underrated around our area because he don't get talked about that much. You know what I mean?
That's for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he did just kind of recently have a son, and he's
Okay.
got a wife. So yeah, he doesn't. I don't think he gets out there and wrestles as much as he used to in his younger days. But yeah, that's definitely a name that everybody needs to go out there and check out and at least watch a match or two of and be familiar with. Because like you said, man, he can do just about it all in the ring, and I owe a lot of my knowledge and my experience when I came in, like pre-experience of knowing a lot before I came in, to him, because
Right.
just watch. I would follow him around. I would go and watch him, because like I said, I didn't have a way in yet. That was the way I was going to learn, was sitting by and watching a friend do it until I could get in there.
Right. Well, look, we got Jimmy Richards. I'm assuming this is your dad because he says, "Get him,
Yes,
son."
sir. Yes, sir. Yep.
Good to have you watching, Pops. You got a hell of a talented son right here. B. Ella, I'm assuming this is your mom because he said it's not the first time you put me on the spot.
B. Ella doesn't sound familiar unless she's got a different, unless she's on
Oh,
an
she got a
account.
screen. She got a screen
My mother's
name.
name is Terry Richards, so look
Okay.
out for a Terry Richards. B. Ella is new. We'll see. We'll see.
We got Quicksilver's with us. He said Tigray is probably the most underrated in this area, and I ain't really disagree with that. I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of underrated guys around our area. Tigray is one of
For
the
sure,
top of that list, though. He
for
definitely
sure.
Tigray probably definitely makes the top 5, maybe even 1 through 3, without a doubt. Man, he is one of the best wrestlers, best performers around our area. She said, "It's not me, LOL, Terry." So let's talk about Jason Genesis, because here's the thing about Jason. He's got a little bit different method of the way he trained. I know I've had Jason on several times, and I know when he first started the thing, it was a moving class, like where he was working at. He tried to get you guys to come in that day train with you guys, run you guys through a class before the shows if the places he was working at was cool with that. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the first day you met Jason.
The first day I met Jason, I can't remember the exact date, but it would have been before a TCW show, before one of Casey's shows, down in Jackson, Tennessee. They were putting on a show there, and like you said, it was before the show. He was going to bring us in and train. I actually missed the first day they put on. He did it 2 days in a row. It was a Friday and a Saturday training. I had to miss the Friday because it was around Christmas time. It was almost this time a couple of years ago. I had a Christmas dinner that first night, so I couldn't make the first one, but I made the second one. And I had seen Jason before, like you said, I'd been to shows, so I knew of him, but he hadn't met me yet. But the first day meeting him, man, it was incredible. He was a great person to meet and to, like I said, get my feet wet in the business. There was a couple other people there that kind of helped bring me in. Trace Hunt was there. Mike Mayo was there too, helping guys out. Perky Will was there. He was at my first day of training. He helped teach me how to run the ropes, actually. But yeah, man, we got in there and started doing some drills, and the rest was history, I guess you could say.
Man, I'll tell you, look, we're going to get on Jason. Let me get here to Jamie J. Jamie Day's in here. I think he wants on the Dirty Dozens. He's cracking jokes, man. He said he heard this show was for gay guys. That's why you're watching, Jamie. That's why you tuned in, man.
That's right. He's tuned in, yeah.
Jamie, you can come on out of the closet, man. Ain't nobody going to judge you, dude. It's all right, man. Look, Jamie J., promoter of 100 Wrestling, Wynn, Arkansas. Another guy, another promoter needs to be taking a look at Race Richards, Jamie J. You got cards coming up. This is a young man. If you can get him there, you need to get him there. So yeah, Jason Genesis, man, he's trying. Here's the thing about Jason. There's a lot of guys who trains wrestlers, but Jason Genesis, he's trained only a few, but his guys are working. You guys are working. First of all, most notable, so far had the most success, I guess, would be Marco Harris.
Oh, of course. God, Marco's unbelievable out there, man. Yeah, for sure.
Marco's off the charts, and that's a notch in Jason's belt. I know everybody's got opinions about trainers, but in my opinion, the end result, the wrestler that ends up in the ring, tells how good the trainer actually was. You can't go wrong with Marco. You got Brown Sugar, that's Chuck right. Swan.
Brown Sugar, baby.
Another guy started out refereeing, worked his way into wrestling, found Brown Sugar, and found home, man. You know what I mean?
Yep, that's right. Yeah, man. Chuck and Rip Ravage, man. Lots of headlocks and takeovers between the three of us, man. We kicked each other's butt for a while, for a few months there.
Rip Ravage, hey, he's another good-looking young man, young kid in the wrestling business. I've been noticing he's starting to put out these little reels and stuff, kind of in the vein of Jack Vaughn and oh hell, what's the big dude that does them now?
Big Ben, something,
Big Ben,
like that.
Big Ben Bishop, man.
That's
funny as heck. Yeah. Rip Ravages, man, he's put out some that's funny. Every time I catch one,
he'll crack me up. Yeah.
I try to share it, man, because they're really good. They're a different take. I feel like he's still searching for trying to hone in on who he really is, but I feel like he's starting to really get close, man.
Yeah, he's a super creative guy, man. I've got full faith that he's going to find something and, really step into it if he hasn't already.
This is for you, Jamie. Rip Ravage, if he don't make it as a wrestler, I done told him he needs to become a Chippendales dancer, man. He needs to get him a tan, keep working out, be a Chippendales dancer. He'd probably make more money as a dancer than he would as a wrestler unless he hits the big time. But
unfortunately.
Then there's you, Race. I mean, let's talk about the first day of training. You've played all these other sports. Finally, you're in the ring. You've been breaking furniture at your mom and dad's house with Tigray Dark since you was a teenager.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You're finally in the ring. You're finally in there taking some bumps. What was your first impression once you finally got in that ring and started bumping around? What did you think?
Oh, man, I will never, ever forget my first bump, man. I will never forget it. I squatted, leaned back, tucked my chin, all that good stuff, but I hit that mat and I thought to myself, how do people do this on a daily, weekly basis? There's no way people do this. It's quite literally like feeling like you're in a car wreck at 120 miles per hour. But it's so amazing how fast our bodies adapt, though. And another thing that I'll think people kind of overlook is the fact that the ropes almost hurt worse than the mat. You run full speed at those ropes, man, it'll bruise you up quick. I've got pictures after my first day. My whole back is bruised to hell, man, from them ropes. So it was a rude awakening, that's for sure. But I remember the number one thing everybody telling me was slow down, kid, as I'm sure everybody gets. But one thing Jason did tell me is you do need to slow down, but you are going fast and you're doing it efficient. So it's not like
Right.
you're sloppy and fast. It's that, you almost just need to comprehend everything you're doing first. It was a learning experience. I needed to take it step by step and perfect everything first. So,
Right. Big Cordell Roberts with us, the bull from the woods. He's going to be there Friday night in Trenton. He says, "What's up, Triple R and Buster? What's up, Cordell?"
what's going on?
Mom's back, and she says, "No, no, no. I think that's the Jamie J. I think that's the Jamie J's comment. Jamie J, we gonna ban you from this show, Jamie J. That's what we gonna do, man." Mark McGee's back, and when he says, "When I see Rip stuff, I share it out." Yeah, it's funny, man. He's funny.
It sure is, yeah.
Mark says, "I see and share so much, I don't remember half of it." Yeah, Mark's one of the best proponents of independent professional wrestling anywhere in the country, but he's really taken a liking to Southern wrestling around our area, man. Make sure
That's awesome.
to help promote everybody. So look, we're back to Jason Genesis, talking about the way he teaches, the way he trains, and a lot of people know this, a lot of people don't. Jason is an actual teacher. I think he teaches college courses. So I feel like I feel like he's got a little bit of a hand up maybe in working with guys, figuring out what young guys need. Because here's the thing about young guys, period, in anything. Some guys respond to somebody in their face, telling them they ain't crap and do this better. Other guys need their confidence built some. They need to be talked to a little more, kind of coddled a little bit. And as a trainer of anything, a coach or anything, it's kind of your job, I feel like, to find whatever that person needs to bring out what you see in them. And I feel like Jason has done an excellent job with all you guys. Like I said, his track record for wrestlers he's trained in wrestlers that are working, I think is, 5-0? How many guys has Jason actually trained? How many of you guys?
So I know for sure Marco, me, Chuck, Rip, he trained Pat O'Malley, had to be a ref if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And I don't know for sure if he trained Perky as well. I want to say yes, but I could be wrong on that. I don't know for sure. Maybe somebody can answer that for me. But that would be, 5 or 6 total workers and a referee. So, yeah, and like you said, the work speaks for itself, man.
You can't, here's the thing. That's where it all comes out at. Train 6 wrestlers. 5 of them are everywhere working. One of them, we don't know whether he trained or not, but Perky Will Perky Will's been successful in the business too.
I've heard a lot about Perky.
If he did train Perky Will, I mean, you're talking about 6 guys right there, 5 guys that are still actively working all over the place in the business around our area. I don't think you can deny the fact that there's something there with Jason. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get guys in the ring and actually get them to where they can work, because a lot of guys train wrestlers, and then once they're trained, that's pretty much it. They don't teach them nothing about the business. They don't really try to help them get bookings. They may find them their first booking or two, and it's like a catch and release. Here, you're out here now. Just go do your thing. And I feel like Jason really invested in all you guys, is what I'm saying,
Yeah, like I said earlier, man, I couldn't have asked for a better trainer, or mentor, or friend, or just somebody I could talk to about the business, I've spent many nights, staying, sleeping the night over there to catch a show that was too far away, that was closer to his house, or just stuff like that, man. And plenty of advice, not only in the wrestling business, but just in life as well. And has always had an open ear, just ready to talk. And like you said, when he told me he teaches Spanish, man, that blew my mind. Like, I was like, you teach Spanish and you juggle the wrestling and just all this. So, much respect to him and the hard work he puts in, not only for this business, but just in his life in general. So, yeah.
Well, let's talk about your very first match, man. Where was your very first match? And if you remember, who was it against, man?
So my first match would have been at MIW, Middleton Independent Wrestling, against none other than the Jason Genesis. And I still say, when people ask me to this day, one of my best matches is that for my debut match against Jason. It's actually up on Midnight Rider Aaron's YouTube, I believe. It's got a few thousand views on there.
Right,
But
Aaron, go forth.
yeah, yes, sir. But yeah, like I said, we probably went, I think, like 12, 13 minutes, and I couldn't have had a better first match, honestly. Now that I go back and think about it, I've watched it a million times, and just like I said, I owe it almost all to Jason, just bringing me in there and letting me lay stuff in, and we just went after and beat the crap out of each other for 12 minutes, and it was awesome, and I loved it.
So let's talk about the nerves. And here's the thing, man. You played 3 sports. You've been out on the field in front of the stands, being full. You kind of been there. Was the nerves bad for you the first wrestling match, man? Did they get to you at all, or was it just like another day in the office?
I will say they were pretty bad, but I did not let them get to me. And whether that would have been because of the past experience, in front of crowds, our inner city rivalry would have, drew 3,000 or 4,000 people to the football game. So, I've performed in front of fair share of crowds, but so yeah, maybe that could have helped me, maintain it a little better. But, even now when I go behind the curtain, but when that music hits, I get a little nervous, and I think we all do. And I think it would be bad if we didn't get nervous, because I think it signifies that passion for the business and wanting to be the best we can be. So yeah, you could say I was pretty nervous, but I was able to control it for sure and go out there and have a good one, a good first match.
I'm just like you. Look, words from Don Bass, rest his soul. If you ever lose those butterflies, it's time for you to find something else to do because you don't
That's
care
right.
no more. It don't mean nothing to you. And look, this is a man who spent his whole life. When I met him, he'd already been wrestling 40 years.
Oh
So,
wow.
and he still got butterflies every time he was behind that curtain and that
Hmm.
music was going to hit. He said he still got butterflies just like he did at first. You got to learn to control the nerves. When I first
That's
broke
right.
in, I'm not going to lie, man, I had stage fright bad. I mean, it was
Oh
real
wow, yeah.
bad for me, dude. It was real bad. And you got to just learn how to control those nerves, man. You got to
Yep.
control them because if you don't, they will control you, man. I ain't gonna
That's
lie. When
right.
I first
Yeah.
started wrestling, I have pulled up to a show or two, just got so nervous and just drove off and left. You
Yeah,
know.
man. Yeah, man. Anxiety's a killer, man. It can get you sometimes.
Well, let's
Yeah.
talk about actually having that first match against your trainer, man. I know in one aspect probably helped your nerves and calmed you down a lot because all you really got to do is listen to him. Go in
Yeah.
here, just listen to me. Let's do this, and it'll be fine. But at the same time, it's your trainer. I know at the same time you want to impress him. So
Right.
let's
That's
let's
right.
talk about that. How was the mental aspect for you going out there working with Jason for your first match?
Yeah, you're right, man. It was almost a sense of, I've got something to prove out there. Yeah, me and Jason have been in the ring, the past 6, 7 months training, but he's never seen what I can do out there in front of people from bell to bell yet. So yeah, it was almost of I got something to prove. But then again, Jason, like you said, it was just listen to him, but he also, kind of exploited my strengths and shined me up really good, and I really appreciate that. He wasn't just trying to get his stuff in, brother, as people would say or whatever, but he was also trying to make me look good, and I really appreciate that. And he did a good job of that. He let me do all, my best moves that I could hit well, some high flying stuff. And like I said, we had a great first match. So
And here's something I don't think people really realize about Jason, man. Jason is a really good ring general for honestly no
oh
longer
yeah.
than he's been in the business. He really is. I have seen Jason work singles, tag teams, work a buku of different style of opponents. He always comes through. He's unselfish. That's another thing
Mhm.
about Jason. He's unselfish.
100%.
He's
Yes.
not going out there and just shining on you because you're the new guy. Anybody
Yeah.
he works with, man, he wants to have the best match, and it shows through. Jason, obviously, a better ring general than a lot of people want to give him credit for. There's no
For
doubt
sure.
about that whatsoever. So let's talk about going from that first match, man. After that first match, back to MIW the next Friday night.
Uh, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, since my first match, I was pretty heavily, at just about every MIW show every Friday night. I could get in there, and about that time, a little bit after my debut, is when UCW decided to open the doors again. So I knew that's always where I wanted to be because it's 30 minutes away, it's close to home, and I got a lot of people that could come out and watch. But yeah, I owe MIW and Mr. Grady Watts and all them down there. I owe a lot to them for letting me break in and prove myself in that ring.
Yeah, they're one of the companies around here. There's a few companies: MIW, TIWF, Mid Southern Wrestling, Mid Southern Championship Wrestling in Arkansas, and Osceola. And there's a few more that I'm missing probably, but there's a lot of good companies that really are cornerstones in all the young talent around our area getting their first matches and kind of cutting their teeth and learning how to wrestle, how to work.
Oh yeah.
MIW is a great company, run every Friday night.
Yep.
That's a chore in itself. Anytime you run a weekly wrestling program, that's a
On a
chore.
Friday night at that,
Yeah,
yeah.
man, that's a chore unto itself. A lot goes into that people don't realize. And those
Hmm.
guys, all those companies deserve credit because that's every single week, 52 weeks a year. Boom, 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 boom. You're always trying to top last week, and that's hard to
Yeah.
do at times.
Yeah, and I want to take a moment. I do want to express my appreciation for TIWF as well. A majority of my training was spent in the TIWF ring. They didn't hesitate to open the doors to let us get in there and bump around. So I really appreciate the guys over there for sure.
Yeah, they're good guys. To be honest with you, them and Osceola and MCW honestly are the two longest running, continuously running wrestling companies around our area, around the
Yeah.
Mid South area. There ain't no others that even come close. MCW's been running since '94, and to be honest with you, TIWF has actually been in existence since probably I want to say '91. So, I mean,
Oh
both of these
wow. Yeah,
companies has
I did
been
not
in
know that.
business
Yeah.
30 years, man. So you can't
It's
deny
incredible
that when you spend 30 years running shows week after week after week after week,
for sure.
that's a testament to their ability. So let's talk about when we were right before we went live. I mean, you were kind of chatting a little bit. After you broke into business, you had a couple of injuries, right?
Unfortunately, yes, two pretty major injuries right there.
Let's talk about those, man, and tell us about each injury and how long it took you to actually get back full recovery in the ring, man.
Got you. Yeah, the first one would have been early November of last year, about this time last year. I had a singles bout with Jake Painter, an incredible talent, that came out of here around here. But I came off the top with a frog splash, and I landed a little too much wrist and not enough forearm, and cracked one of the right wrists. So yeah, I was out for about almost until mid-January is when I had my next match back. So I had about a month and a half, 2 months off from that. And then unfortunately, I had maybe two matches right after coming back from that. And then in another match, I took a knee to the face and
Mm,
shattered my orbital bone and a little bit of my nose, had a hole in my sinus. I
man.
blew my nose at Jason's house
Oh
that
God.
night, and it all went to my eye socket and had orbital emphysema, is what it's called, and my eye was blew up for like a week. Oh, it was terrible. It was awful. That one put me out for a very long time, and I didn't even come back immediately after I was 100% healed from that, just to just to take some time off and just get my feet back under me. And then after that, I started getting back in the ring down in UCW every other week and started almost not retraining, but just knocking off some rust and touching up on the fundamentals. And then I had my first match back in June at a show up in Mayfield, Kentucky, my hometown. The first show I had seen run there since I was born, basically. And Jerry Lawler was on the card and all company PWE Pro Wrestling Entertainment out of Nashville ran a fair show up there for us, and it was an absolute honor and pleasure to be on that card and to be able to wrestle in front of my hometown. And yeah, I've been back since then, trying to make a wave again.
So let me ask you this, man. Wrist injury. I mean, you come back from that with that orbital bone, and don't ever. The worst thing you can do, you get an injury like that, is blow your nose because it immediately swells
Yeah,
everything up.
I
Immediately.
unfortunately learned the hard way.
But the hard thing is, you feel like you need to blow your nose, so it's hard not to blow
Yeah,
your
it was
nose.
so much blood and all up in there, so it was tough. I had to.
So that kind of injury, I feel like, can make you a little gun shy. Did it once you got healed up? Were you a little gun shy about getting back in the ring?
Uh, kind of. Not a whole lot. I've never been like a guy to back down or just be scared of a risk, that's for sure. In my second match ever was another match against Jason. I actually did a dive to the outside and landed on my elbow awkwardly, and it like
Ooh,
swelled up super big. I don't know. Cena had a similar injury back in the day, and his elbow got real big. And so right at like when that came down, the first match back after, I said, "No, man, I want to do that same exact dive. I want to do that same exact spot, so I know I can do it right because I know I've got it in me." So that was almost kind of how I approached it. If I would have, man, I would have went out there my first match and you know took another shot to the face or something just to prove that it was just a hiccup or something. But yeah, that's almost how I approach it. But so I wasn't necessarily gun shy, but just kind of knew to protect myself a little more.
right. We're all. Here's the thing. A lot of times, an injury is the best thing that can happen to a young wrestler because first thing it does, all of us, when we first get in there, we want to prove what we can do. We want to
That's
go
right.
90-0. We want to boom, 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 boom. And a lot of times, man, the thing about wrestling fans, you've got to slow it down. You've got to make sure they understand and see everything, single thing that's going. If you do it
Right.
too quick, a lot of times you'll lose them. But a
Right.
lot of times the injury is the best thing that can happen to a young wrestler because it forces you to learn how to work.
For sure.
Instead
I
of just
agree.
going out
Yeah.
there and relying on your athletic ability, that's when you really start learning how to work mentally as
For
a
sure.
wrestler because you got to work around stuff. I mean, obviously, I'm sure now that you ain't looking to just take no knees to the orbital socket. You know what I
That's
mean?
for sure. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah. You gotta know who you're stepping in there with. That's for sure.
Well, let me ask you this, man. Fast forward now, UCW, man, you made the return. UCW is part of the UWA, the Unified Wrestling Alliance. So I actually got to call the match I was calling the Tigray match for UWA that you
Oh wow.
actually
Okay.
made your return to UCW in. I think it was
Okay.
Mike Mayo, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember right. It was Tigray
Yeah.
versus Mike Mayo, and Mike Mayo had lost and was beating up Tigray after the bell, and all of a sudden, nowhere, here comes Race Richards sliding in the ring, sent sent Mike Mayo out the door, went over, checked on Tigray, and then I look around and I don't know, a few weeks, a month or so later, you're the UCW heavyweight champion. So let's talk about
Right.
that a little bit because Tigray Dark was the UCW heavyweight champion. Was he the champion? Is he the guy you beat, or was it James
Yeah.
Sosa?
It was T Gray. It was
T
T
Gray.
Gray.
T Gray beat Sosa for the title. Then you beat T Gray. So let's talk about that. This is a guy you've grown up with. You've tore up furniture in your house with as
That's right.
teenagers,
Yeah.
wrestling. Now you're actually in the ring in front of these fans, and it's for the UCW heavyweight title. Let's talk about that for a minute, man. Talk to me about that matchup, man, how it felt for you.
Yeah, man. So just rewind a little bit back when that injury versus Jake Painter. Uh, right after that match, the next match on that show I was going to be in was a number one contenders for the current title holder who was James Iceman Sosa. So, you know, I was first in line to be first in line, right before that injury took me out. And Tigray ended up taking my spot in that match since I got injured. And he ended up winning on and beating Sosa for the title. So you could say he took my spot in a way if you want. But yeah, I made my way back, made my return after being fed up with Mike Mayo beating up on my best friend after the bell too many times. I had to go in there and give him a piece of my mind.
Beat
But
him
in
up
doing that,
yourself?
yeah, I went in doing that. I went over there and made sure Tigre was all right. But beside him, I saw that UCW belt laying on the floor, and I knew that's the one thing that I was going for before I got taken out. And wasn't nothing gonna stop me now that I'm back. So I challenged Tigre for the belt, and we stepped in there and we went after each other for about 20, 25, 26 minutes, man. It's one of my favorite moments and favorite matches ever in my career. Of those few I've had was just being able to step in there with a brother and just beat the crap out of each other for over 20 minutes. And after a long, bloody, and sweaty battle, I was able to say I came out on top, 1, 2, 3, and your new UCW champion.
That's a big notch in your belt, man. Like I said, Tigre's one of the best UCW champions. I like Sosa too,
Oh yeah,
but Tigre's highly
yeah,
underrated. I mean, that's kind of one of them deals, man. It's like a dream come true. I imagine for both of you guys. I'm assuming that when you were teenagers, y'all probably talked about, fantasized about having matches, these big time matches against each other in front of fans. And one
for
thing I've
sure.
noticed about you, man, from your Facebook and stuff, you've got a good family support group system there, man. Your family seems to really support you and everything you do. Was your family there the night you won the belt?
Oh yeah, man. Almost right after the bell ring, I grabbed that belt and went out over to the rail and just my nephews, my little sister, and just family friends, all of them, just wrapped their arms around me, and I wouldn't want to cherish that moment with anybody else. I'm very grateful and humble for my family and just being so supportive, all the way down to all my sisters, to my parents, to grandparents, aunts, uncles, just everybody I can say is 10 toes behind me. So I appreciate them very much.
Mom says all the time.
That's right, yeah.
So look, Gunner Lane's with us, man. UCW guy. He'll be at the show Friday night. Uh, let's talk about Gunner for a second, man. UCW. I know he's a big part of the behind the scenes of UCW, making everything happen, man. So let's talk about UCW for a few minutes because y'all recently had a big show in South Fulton, Tennessee, at the high school,
Oh
man.
yeah,
So
yeah.
let's talk about that for a few minutes, man.
Yeah, man, Gunner is he's one of the better people I've met in this business, man. Just so down to earth and open-minded and just a great friend to have in this business. But yeah, man, we put on that big show in South Fulton High School, and it was a great turnout. There was a big crowd, good big crowd. They were hot all night, man. I had a great match with Isaiah Cohen. He won a scramble that night to be the number one contender. That's one of my favorites to step in there too with, man, is Isaiah. That's just another great talent we have from around
He's an
here.
underrated guy, man. He
Oh yeah,
really,
he may
I,
he may be number one on that underrated list you were talking about for sure.
yeah, I like watching him work, man. He's an underrated guy around here. He's a guy that you never hear mentioned, but he's always out there. He's putting in the work, man. He's good in the ring. Highly underrated guy.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, it was a great show. I was able to retain the belt after a hard battle. But yeah, man, like I said, Gunner and what he does for UCW, it's almost unmatched.
Look, Quicksilver says he never technically lost that belt. He had to relinquish it. And I feel like Quicksilver thinks in his mind, he's still the champion, man. So let's address that while he's on here, man. Is Quicksilver going to get a shot at that UCW heavyweight title somewhere down the line race?
Hey, Patrick O'Malley, he's our president of operations here at UCW, so he'll have to take it up with him. But yeah, Quick is right, man. He had to relinquish due to injury, and that's when Sosa picked it up, if I'm not wrong. So who knows? Maybe Quick might be first in line. So we'll see. We'll see. It's always a pleasure stepping in there with Quick.
You got a lot of guys wanting to step in there with you. Dwayne Cashman, he says, don't worry, man. We'll get in there sometime soon.
Oh yeah, man. I look forward to it. I'm always open for a fight, for a challenge, man. Let's do it.
Let's talk about that for a second. When you're chasing the title, you're the predator. Once you get the title, you become the prey. So,
Yep.
so let's talk about that. Talk about the pressure of now you are the target. All these guys, good guys, bad guys, they all want that spot you got right now. They all want that UCW title. So let's talk about that aspect for a second. the pressure it puts on you, man. Do you feel that pressure?
Yeah, man, I'm well aware of the fact that there's a lot of eyes on me right now. There's a big target on my back, but I'd like to think that that's the way I like it, man. Like I said, I'm always open for a challenge. I'm never going to back down from a risk. Whoever it wants to be that wants to step in for this thing, man, I'm glad to step in there with you. They don't call me Relentless for nothing, so I'll teach them the true meaning of it.
Look, Josh, man, he's back. He said, just keep up the good work. Him and Lane Broadway, the headliners, they're looking to get those UCW tag team titles back that are held currently by the Ice Blade Renegades, Iceman Sosa and JV Blade. These guys have been going at it for months now, back and forth over those tag titles. But I feel like Josh, man, the first chance he gets, I feel like he's going to come looking for that title.
Hey, man, I'm ready. I'm ready. Me and Quick have been in there a few times. Like I said, it's always a pleasure, but he better know he's stepping in with the Relentless one.
So look, Race, we're going to start winding it down. We've already been going almost an hour. Got a couple of more questions for you.
All right.
First question, man. UCW, you're the heavyweight champion. Where do you go from here? Where do you to go? Do you have is there a new promotion you want to go try to make your name at? Where does Race Richards want to go over the next year?
Well, I don't know. I could see myself, I'm going to say I'd like to hold on to this title as long as I can. So hopefully I see myself at the end of the year still holding it. But I don't know. I see a year of great matches for defenses. And we got just announced today, I believe. We got the show later this month coming up with Premier Pro, UCW versus PPW. So
December 19th, man, that's going to be
right.
That's company versus company. Premier Pro's actually done one of these before with New South Wrestling. Huge show. It's here's the deal for the fans. It's like a bonus plus because you really get two company rosters all on one show. You get double the talent from two different companies all on one show facing off. I'm looking forward to that, man. You're going to be there. As of now, you still got that title. So
yes,
in my head, I'm thinking we might see a UCW heavyweight championship match versus a PPW heavyweight championship match, which would pitch you against the current PPW heavyweight champion, Zay Washington, right now. Let's touch on that for a little bit. How you feel about that matchup, man? Because Zay, one of the top guys around our area, without a doubt, across the board.
Oh, yeah, man. I would love it, man. Like you said, he's one of the top guys. He was there too during the Trenton days when we would train. If he was on the show, he would step in there and give us some pointers and stuff. So, yeah, man, I'd love to step in there with Zay, champion versus champion, see who the best man is. Whoever it may be, though, that the PPW wants to put up, man, I'm eager for it. I'm ready. So we'll see.
All right, I'm fixing to put you on the spot, Race.
All right.
What felt better, winning that UCW heavyweight title or wrestling in front of your hometown fans in Mayfield, man?
Oh, wow. That is a great question. Oh, man. It's almost like two separate feelings that were incredible in their own beautiful way. I'd have to say winning the title, right? Just because it's the first piece of hardware, the first gold around the waist. But there was no feeling like hearing that crowd scream for me, just hearing behind me that hometown crowd. There was no feeling like that, man. It was incredible. But then again, I'll never forget winning my first ever singles championship.
Hometown crowd, hometown debut. Was the nerves worse for that match than normal matches?
Oh yeah, that was definitely the worst of them all. The heart was racing, that's for sure. But like you said, we got to control them.
That's right. You don't want to be embarrassed in front of your hometown either, man.
No, that's right. That's for sure.
Look, you better get ready because Gunner's on here, and he said a little birdie told him that UCW title will be defended on December 19th, man. So they got something in the works for you.
Awesome. I'm ready. Like I said, I'm eager.
You might be a double champion. Who knows?
Who knows? I'll have to be there and find out, man.
That's a lot of gold, man. You got the UCW title on one shoulder and the PPW heavyweight title on the other. you'll have to get you you'll have to get you somebody to tote the belts around for you if that happens.
I
Man.
know, that's right. That's right.
Last question. Where do
Let's
you
do
want
it.
to take this thing, Race? Everybody's got a different opinion. WWE, AEW, NWA, Ohio Valley, TNA, any of these guys come calling, are you up for that?
Of course, man. I think it's wild to say that you step into this business and you don't want to be, on a big screen or a big TV, a big promotion somewhere. So yeah, I mean, WWE, TNA, AEW, those are promotions those are goals in mind for sure. But another big time goal for me in the wrestling business, long term down the line, whether it be after, my career's done in the ring or what, is I would love to put on a show in my hometown of Mayfield. Like I said earlier, you may have noticed I mentioned that was the first time I'd ever seen a show come through Mayfield since I had been born. Because, I mean, with Kentucky, there's still a commission. There's a lot of
Right.
hoops and stuff you got to go through to put on a show in Kentucky. So it's kind of a drought in this area, the far west area of just shows, man. And I would love to have a consistent one that could open some eyes around here to some independent wrestling for sure. So that's kind of a long-term goal for me in the wrestling business.
And Kentucky, it is. It's like Missouri. Missouri,
Yeah,
I mean, you can get your license, but the commission's going to be there. You got to have your physicals done. They're going
that's
to check
right.
some
Yeah.
stuff on you, and they're going to be at the show. And Kentucky's the same way, man.
hmm
A lot of the death match guys, Ian Rotten had a big deal to do with the commission being so strict in Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's always been a pretty strict athletic commission state, but there was a few years there where these guys were going all over the state and going into buildings and just breaking glass and bleeding all over
Yeah.
everything. And people don't want that, man. I mean,
Right.
and
Right.
look,
Yeah.
I'm not saying wrestling fans don't want that. I'm just saying armories don't want that. People with the
Right.
buildings and small
hmm
towns, they love wrestling. But when you're pouring buckets of blood into buildings and on walls and stuff,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
man. It gets to a point.
it does. It gets to a point where it's just too much. Hey, Gunner's back, and oh heck, maybe I'm calling the shots. He said another birdie told him that could actually happen soon. So, dude, uh, Gunner says I talk to a lot of birds. Hey, Tweety Bird's just constantly tweeting in his ear, man.
Yeah, yeah, seems like it.
So look, Race, man, I have enjoyed this, dude. I'd been looking forward to talking with you and getting you on here. This thing's been booked, what, a month and a half, 2 months?
Yeah, yeah, it had some time behind it for sure.
Yeah, man, I've been looking forward to it. Like I said, I was impressed with you the first day I saw you at the Premier Pro Wrestling Show in
I
Jackson,
appreciate
man.
it. I appreciate
I
it.
was highly impressed with you. You look like you've been doing this longer than you actually have, and that's an important attribute. I think that don't just speak well of you, that speaks well of Jason Genesis too,
Of course,
and
yes.
his method of training. You can't deny the talent. I'm anxious to see what the next couple of years bring for you, Race, man. I'm anxious to see you for our area. I'd love to see you get on EPW or Memphis Wrestling. I'd love to see
Gotcha,
you
man.
get to there, work there a little while, and then maybe that parlays into NWA or something, and take those stair steps up. Maybe one day the WWE comes calling, dude. I know
That,
you got potential and the talent's there. You seem like you've got the drive. You don't mind working hard. And here's the thing about wrestling: you got to have heart.
that's
You
for
got to have
sure.
heart for this business. I feel like you got the total package on that end, man. And I'm anxious to see what the next couple of years brings for you, dude.
I appreciate it. Yeah, man, we'll see. We'll see. Like you said, EPW, Memphis Wrestling. I've been on EPW, a couple times. So yeah, man, if the phone rings, I'm ready. We'll see. We'll see.
I'm looking to see you on that TV race.
Yes, sir.
Man, you have a great night, my friend.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure and an honor.
Yes, sir. Me too, dude. All right, y'all. You seen it right there. Race Richards, man, UCW heavyweight champion. Anywhere you go, you get a chance to see this young man in person. Go do it. You won't be disappointed. Tomorrow night, back at 7 p.m., I'm going to have Eric Joyce on and Brian Rogers or T-Pain. I really don't know who I'm going to get tomorrow since he's had a little change of of heart, it looks like. But we're going to be all about the benefit show coming up Friday night at the TIWF building. Be sure to tune in. If everything goes right, I named off some of the talent for you guys. If everything goes right, maybe we'll have some of the matchups for you tomorrow, and we can let the cat out of the bag of some of these matches you're going to see Friday night. Guys, I appreciate everybody who tuned in, everybody who's watched. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Until then, y'all take it easy.
When you hear that Buster H.R. Oh, man, it's about to go down. You feel the tension in the air. Wrestling fans all over the world, get ready for this right here. They're gonna have a field day with this one. You're about to witness Buster Unmasked! Oh, Lord! Oh, Lord! There's no telling what Buster's gonna say today. We just getting started. Just getting started! Welcome to Buster Unmasked! Hosted by Buster H.R. Johnson. This is a Buster H.R. exclusive. We are now tuned in to